Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Coffee with Jen and Sharon.
Good
I'm
morning.
Sharon.
I'm Jen, and I have
We're-
no coffee today because I am trapped in my basement while people are doing some work in my house on the stairs. So that's my sad story. What's yours?
My sad story is that there's snow outside, but you know all
Mhm,
about that.
I do.
But
Yeah, this one right here looks like this. I was outside knocking snow off all the bushes, and it like didn't do good things for my. I don't know why I bothered to shower today. That was a waste of my time.
you're still clean. We'll still
I'm
give you credit.
clean. Yeah, I'm clean.
So today we're talking about how and whether we set boundaries for our time and our energy, or whether we just, let ourselves float along on the ocean of life and let everybody take from us what
Right.
they want to take from us.
And let our kids and spouses and contractors rule our
Yes.
lives.
Yeah, Jen, if you've been with us for a while, you know that Jen and I are very familiar with contractors because we both have 100-year-old houses. So
Yes.
in
When
our part of
you
town, there's
yeah,
a lot of contractors.
when you have the plaster guy on speed dial in your phone, you know you live in an old home community, as we
I
do.
know one of my friends who lives in a new house said, "You have your own plumber?" I'm like, "Plumber? You don't even, that is just the tip of the iceberg."
Totally. Plumber, electrician, painter, the whole thing. Yes, we've got it covered. So if you live in Northeast Ohio and you need recommendations, come to us.
Speaking of, I was supposed to have a guy come replace a pipe today.
Always a guy.
And
Waiting for a guy.
because I don't know if it was because of the snow, but he said, "Oh, he can't come today. Can he come on Friday?" And of course, I am always saying, "Oh, yes, anytime." I said, "Yes, no problem." And it is normally, here's the thing. Jen and I both work from home. We're editors at Your Teen. We do get together sometimes, not in the age of COVID though. So it's more from home than ever.
Right.
So I have a tendency to say, "Oh yeah, sure. I'm from home. You can come whenever," or
I'm
"Yeah, kids,
flexible.
I can pick you up." Hmm?
I'm flexible, right? Isn't that the word I want? Yes.
Flexible.
I'm flexible,
Yes.
right?
But you guys will be so proud of me. So I was telling Jen that two of my children have state testing this week. And the way that works is that it's split up into several days, and it's only for like 90 minutes at a time. So they have to be brought into school at a weird time and brought home from school at a weird time. And there is busing available, but it's COVID times. And I'm like, I work from home. I can be flexible. So
Mhm.
I wound up bringing two different children to two different schools this morning. And then just before we got on this video, I got a call from one of them that she's done early. So you will all be so proud of me because my husband is picking her up,
Oh, very
not
nice.
me.
Very nice. I thought you were gonna say that you told her she's gonna have to cool her heels for a while and wait till you're available,
Well,
which
that would be very old school, like when we grew up. I'm sure you have times where you waited and waited to be picked up from somewhere.
well, one time I never did get picked up from a piano lesson. I'm still there. I'm still at that piano lesson. Nobody ever came.
What happened? Did they forget?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm sure like somebody thought somebody else was coming to get me, youngest of 5, like there were probably multiple drivers. I don't know. Somebody was supposed to come get me. Nobody did. I eventually had to advocate for myself and go back into the piano lesson for the next student and ask the teacher if I could use the phone to call my home and say, "Is anybody ever coming to get me at this piano lesson?"
Yes, I
And
remember
I
being,
survived. I am here today to tell you that I survived. It can happen.
yeah. But Jen, I had the same experience with various things. I remember soccer practice in particular being the last one to get picked up. And do your parents know what time practice is over? Oh yes, I'm sure they're coming. Um,
Yes.
and I don't remember what happened. Maybe somebody had a good reason. But here's the thing, Jen. As I'm the youngest of 5, you're the youngest of 5. Did that make us too flexible? Because
Maybe. I never thought
you
of that.
the
Yeah,
schedule never revolved around us.
never. I can't think of a time ever when it was like, "Oh, but we can't go do that because of your thing." It was no, never.
So you have 2 kids. I have 3. Very different. Between us, we have 5. So that's very different. So our kids probably are more used to us doing what they need in any given time than maybe we were.
Most definitely. And I will also say that with the advent of cell phones, that made it not an unrealistic expectation in their mind that you could just drop everything and come and get them, because they could very easily text you and say, "Oh, I got out of my exam early," or "practice ended early," or whatever it
Mhm.
is. They had no hesitation to say, "Oh, can you come get me now?" And
Of course.
yeah, and like you, my answer was usually yes. I mean, I work from home, so it is a possibility, but it causes a lot of stress, and we still have things we have to get done. We have deadlines, we have meetings, we have people who are counting on us for other things, but that's I feel like that's sort of invisible to our teens. Whether you work from home or not, I think our teens in this day and age, perhaps we're just so constantly connected that it's very easy for teens to think, well, why can't you just come and leave what you're doing and drop it all and do this? So I suggested to Sharon that we use a slightly different reframing of this, which is instead of saying, yeah, sure, I work from home so I can be flexible, maybe what we need to think about is saying, I work at home, so I need to set some boundaries. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I will get nothing done
I
ever.
want to hear I want to hear from our viewers what they do to set boundaries, and maybe they're built in. Maybe you have maybe you have lots of kids, or you have a schedule that requires you to just be outside the home and be unreachable. Like maybe you're a teacher and can't be called during the day, or you know, you're in court or whatever it might be. So I would love to know how everyone does that
Yeah,
successfully or not, or what
or
you're
not, right, and it's
fumbling.
right, and I mean, if you're in a two-parent situation, there tends to be the primary parent, the one who it's sort of expected that you will do the odd, you know, ferrying of children back and forth. And if you're a single parent, then you have no other option but to say, yes, I am the one who has to do that, unless maybe you figured out a great way to use friends or family members, or maybe you have to job it out. But I often did find myself wondering on those times around final exams in high school is a great example of this. Our kids would have like they have a morning exam, and then they have a long break in between, and then they have an afternoon exam. And the exam could be anywhere between 1 and 3 hours. So there was a lot of float time in there. And I could find myself driving back and forth to the high school like 4 times in a day easily during final exam week. And I thought, well, okay, so a lot of people, their kids can walk to the high school, which is great, and that's not a problem. But if your kid can't walk to the high school and you're at work all day, what are those kids doing? Somehow other people figured this out. But I defaulted to, okay, I'll come get you because I can. Maybe that was not the smart play, Sharon. I'm
I
just
don't
telling you,
know. I mean,
heads up because your kids are headed there.
I don't know. Well, mine can walk, thankfully. But,
That's a good
you
point.
know, if maybe your kids would have gone home with some kid who can walk, and maybe the parents weren't there during the day, and there are possibilities for hijinks to happen even in daylight hours.
True.
So
True.
do we want them? Maybe this was an actual good thing that you took them home instead of
Maybe.
letting them roam free around the
It's like
neighborhoods of the high school.
The Scylla and Charybdis. Like I want them to be, to be safe, and I was happy to bring them home so they could have a good lunch and relax a little bit before their afternoon exam. But
Right.
here's the funny thing: I went to that same high school, and I did not live close enough to walk, and I'm quite certain that my mother did not come and get me in between exams. I'm pretty
We
sure I just sat in the hallway and had a sad bag lunch and waited between exams because that was the more realistic expectation.
Yeah, I mean, would you feel yeah, you would feel bad doing that to your kid. I know
Good. Mhm.
that the kids know it too. They'll say, "Well, why don't you? Because you can do this. You know, you're just being mean if you don't do it."
Or
Like,
worse, so and so's mom comes to get them.
oh gosh, we had this conversation yesterday about some task. I said, other people's parents don't do this. And my little one piped up and said, well, other people's parents make their lunches every single day for them. And
oh, Sharon, you're so mean that you make
there was
them
a whole
make their
list of
lunches.
things. I also got in trouble from a child yesterday because I said, can you please pick up, your stuff from lunch, your trash, the tortilla bag? Mom, you called me up to do that. You couldn't just put the bag in the trash for me. And well, I don't keep a list of everything I do for you. It's just, it goes not appreciated a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's taken for granted, but is that part of the job description?
Yeah, well, it is if we make it, it's the job description is what we make it. And we just have to decide sometimes how mean we want to be. I want to say we have somebody who piped in here. Dee Walker says hello to everybody.
Yes.
So Dee,
Hi, Dee. So glad.
If
glad you're joining us.
If we haven't scared you away yet with our complaining, we'd love to know where you're joining us from and what your kid's situation is. And also Christina. Christina says, I'm the primary parent. I work from home and have not set good boundaries. Join our club, Christina. However, I have a mom squad and we pitch into carpool, but it doesn't help when my kids forget items. Totally. Oh, yeah.
Or worse, you only care about yourself.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Another Jennifer, represent. Jennifer Dooley. How many other Jennifers do you know? I know about 28, I think.
I think in our cohort, there are a ton.
There are. So, and we're all very nice, cool people. I'm going to just say that.
You know what's funny is that I think at least one of my children will not be like this as a parent. They're very good about prioritizing what they need. And I can see, it's funny, I can tell personality-wise already, like one is really good, like, well, I need that first. I want that, I don't know, it could even be like food. Well, I wanted a serving, so you come second. And the other ones will be like, well, if you want some, or I guess I could do that. But I kind of admire the ability to stand up for yourself and prioritize.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that if it's done, politely. And I think I do think about that. Like, it probably is okay for us to show that example to our kids of, I am prioritizing something that for my time that is important to me. And it doesn't have to be about them even. It could be, you could say to your kids at times, have you ever turned down like a volunteer obligation and you felt a little guilty about it? But what you might have to say is, I really do need to prioritize my time. And that is something I'm not able to take on right now because I have other commitments that I want to be able to give my full attention to. So in that way, we might be showing them that it's okay to create a little space for yourself to do what is important for you. And
did you ever do that with your kids? Did you ever say, or did they know, well, mom has X, don't interrupt mom during whatever it might be, or mom always, did you have a thing like that when your kids were at home all the time?
No, I did not do a great job with that. I just remember, when they were younger, like my office doesn't have a door on it and it's adjacent to our living room. So they might be in there watching TV while I'm trying to handle a client call. And occasionally I would have to hold up the sheet of paper saying, quiet, please, or I'm on a call.
Did that work?
Remind them, like you'd think that they could hear that that's what was going on. As they got older, they of course understood and they internalized that. But I thought it was kind of funny that at some point during the pandemic, when we were all in each other's space, there were times when my kids had to tell us to zip it.
Oh, absolutely.
Or they were, or they were in a class and we were being too noisy behind them. So I think
I totally got in trouble for talking in class.
Did you?
Yeah, because when everybody's doing school, you have to spread out and get in different places. And somebody was in the kitchen, and I was just talking to my husband and getting breakfast, and school had already started. Psst, be quiet! You guys are talking. I'm in school.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Yeah, there were definitely, I think everybody during this pandemic had times when they had to figure out what the boundaries were, especially if you were in a small apartment with kids. I mean, God bless you. I don't know how I would.
Headphones? Is that the boundary?
Headphones could be a good boundary. I think that's one way to
Yeah.
signal to others too that you are trying to focus on something.
Bathroom door locks. Remember when they were young and would always come in?
Yeah,
And
you couldn't get a moment apart. They're like, what are you doing in there? Now it's the cats. The cats are like, they want to come in. They're like, hey,
crazy.
why is that door closed? I need to be in there.
I got in the bathroom to get ready to take a shower 2 days ago, and somebody knocked on the door as soon as I closed the door and locked it. I was like, what? It wasn't. And it was just my husband saying, if you need a towel, you might want to get one because I don't think there's any new towels in there. Like, he was being so nice.
Aww.
And I was like, what? I'm still carrying a little trauma from the bathroom time, not having my bathroom time.
They don't understand. They didn't probably get interrupted quite the way we did in that.
Right.
But that was very nice of your husband to think of you getting out of the shower without a towel. That would have been a problem.
So I think the bottom line is we can use some help here. Right?
I think so too. Yeah, we could.
And I think the bottom line is also that saying no sometimes or setting those boundaries is probably good for our kids too, because they'll just learn to be flexible like us. Oh, this is funny. Jennifer. Just the other day, my 16-year-old asked if she could come into my bathroom while I was in there. No.
They just love you so much.
Yes, you're very close. She's very comfortable with you.
To be apart from you. Probably, that has happened to me actually in the teen years. And what it is that they want to get something out of the bathroom of mine, like some hair product or something that they want. So it's not that they want to be with me. It's that they want something that's in there and they're going to get it right now. So we have another comment here.
Courtney, we won't put this up because it's long. It'll block everything. But oh goodness, she still has a 14 and Courtney has a 14 and 16-year-old who are still hybrid. Every day she's trying to get to the top of the list, and she has to adapt by being flexible and not put so much herself to finish an absurd amount of tasks every day. That is key. My list is ridiculous.
Oh, I like it. She says every day is like whack-a-mole with life's nuances popping up and having to face whatever's happening. That is exactly what it's like. And that's what Sharon and I are feeling when we are saying we want to be flexible, and we do understand that since we're the ones who work from home, it's easier to fold some of these things in, but then you never get your own stuff done. And it's at the end of the day, I'm exhausted and I still have half the things left on my to-do list from my work that I didn't get done. And I think to myself, why did I not get to it? Oh, because I handled a call from the contractor and I went to go pick up a kid or whatever those things were, and all those interruptions in your day. And it takes a lot longer to get your wheels back on the track with those interruptions.
And sometimes they're good things. Like if a friend wants to go for a walk, I want to do that. And I know I need exercise.
Right.
And the timing, the invitation's right there. So maybe the timing would be better at 5 p.m. after my workday. But I don't want to miss that because I want to see that friend and go when the sun is shining and the temperatures are warmer in our spring days. So it's a balance because, I do want to say yes sometimes. So. Yeah.
Well, I guess what we're hearing is that we're not alone, Sharon.
Yes, that's always the best part of coffee when we know we're not alone.
So we'd love to hear more from you about how you are or are not successfully setting boundaries. And Courtney says, you can put this one up because it's shorter. I can breathe easier when you're talking about your experiences and sharing. Thanks. Made my day. Oh, Courtney, right back at you. You say you made our day just by joining us. So we're always happy to be here and talk about what we're not doing such a great job.
Yeah. You can always tell us what you want us to talk about too. Yeah. Like what, and then we can definitely share in your issues too, because I'm sure if you've got them, we've got them too.
Absolutely. Definitely. All right. Well, we hope everybody has a fantastic day. We hope you're not having snow where you are because it's totally
Yeah,
acceptable to me that we have snow on April 21st.
it's crazy. It's on top of flowers and green leaves. It is melting already though,
I
but
hope it doesn't kill my lilacs. They're my favorite spring
I
flower,
know.
and they were
They're
just
hardy.
coming out. Are they? Is it going to be
I
okay,
don't
Sharon?
Oh, sure. We'll report back next week on Jen's lilacs.
Okay. All right. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time with Coffee with Jen and Sharon.